Your life sucks because you're not IRL maxing. You're not IRL maxing, and that is why you are not living the fullest amount of a life you can live. The quality of your life is correlated to the amount of life you can live. You see, everyone's so fixated on longevity, on living a long life, but what about living a good life, a quality life that is full of depth, full of experiences, not just about traveling, not just about making the money, not just about even experiences itself, but the quality of your experiences. You see, I'm in Guatemala, and there's different people here. Some people are what I call IRL maxing. There's a scale, right? A scale of how much you're being in the moment. Everyone's in Guatemala, but not everybody's IRL maxing. Not everybody's in the moment. Not everybody's present. Not everybody is here in the now, where their feet are, right? They're somewhere else. And them being somewhere else may not be something you could fully comprehend on the surface. Because people could be not on their phones, not distracted, but still up here, not fully embracing the moment, not embracing the quality of the moment. And there's many practices that helps with this, with IRL maxing. Something like meditation is very good, or just simply training your brain to be able to be okay with less stimulation, and training your mind and your dopamine receptors and different neurotransmitters to be able to actually be able to have long conversations without feeling the need to check your phone or do whatever it may be, right? Being fully focused. Focus is a big part of IRL maxing too, right? The more you're focused you are, the more you're able to actually be in the moment, to be able to observe more, to be able to simply just be and not always feeling the need to do, right? So I talk about this quite a bit. IRL maxing is a lot about being, not as much about doing. It's also about having the idea that less is more. Less is more. So the more you're able to subtract things out of your life, the more you're able to actually be in the moment. But I don't want IRL maxing to only be explained about being in the moment, because we've heard that enough about meditating, about doing different things to retrain your attention span or regulate your nervous system. And as much as these are fundamental parts of what I call IRL maxing, to me IRL maxing is a way of living. It's a way of living. So I wouldn't say it's just a way of being, and it's definitely not a way of doing, but it's a combination of these different attributes, different things to get into that shapes your life philosophy, right? It's based off my life philosophy of what it means to be in the moment and to constantly work on being able to but actually, like I said, take away these things that are distracting the mind, that are watering down and filtering out our very essence, drowning out our essence, I should say. You see, that's why you have to practice doing things to retrain your brain. I think it's really just about getting back to who we are in essence and who we used to be like. This is why I say less is more. This is why people say less is more, is because we weren't meant to be having all these things materialistically, or even mentally for that matter. You know, we were meant to have so much. And why is it glamorized? Why is adding so glamorized? Why does nobody talk so much about subtracting in your life, right? So I think that goes hand in hand with IRL maxing, of being more intentional with the things you have in your life, right? Nothing's wrong with materialistic things. Nothing's wrong with wanting a nice shirt to wear, a nice necklace, maybe a nice watch, okay? But don't let that define you. Don't be so attached to it. When you get attached to things, your essence gets stripped away. The less you're able to truly IRL max. And you're wondering, why is my life shit? If it is, or why is my life mediocre? That's sort of where I resonated more with, of just being very mediocre, very middle of the pack. And a big part of that was because I was so up here. I was so up here. And it's a constant battle to this day to really like soak up where I am. You know, being out here, I'm not sure if you can see so well. This is one of the most beautiful lakes in the world. There's a volcano right here, and I'm living here right now. I'm living here right now. And I have to take a second to actually constantly remind myself of how amazing this is. Because this is so normalized to me right now. You know, now I have my friends here, I know a lot of people here, speaking some Spanish. You know, like if you travel, you know what it feels like to just have things become normalized, especially if you end up living somewhere and spending, extended amount of time somewhere. It becomes very normalized. So part of this IRL maxing philosophy is actually practicing more gratitude. So as much as it's great to meditate and be more present, but to actually, go a bit further and almost not force yourself, but just ingrain this sense of gratitude in your life. When you're grateful more, that's when the universe can reward you, right? If you're giving a present to a friend and they're not very grateful, do you want to give another present to that friend? Probably not, because they're not being grateful for what they have. So the more grateful you are, not only do you end up IRL maxing more and just enjoying the moment more and enjoying your travels more, but you actually end up getting more out of it for yourself. It's almost like a selfish way to get more out of life, you could say. The more you're grateful, or the more you give to others is another one, right? The more you give to people, the more you get back. It's a law of reciprocity, I should say, the law of exchange, right? So this all ties into IRL maxing. And I think the bottom line for this video is that if you want your life not to suck, like what the title is right here, then you have to be practicing IRL maxing. You have to be practicing it. Don't get carried away with certain philosophies that are only, focusing on one aspect of life. Because we're expanding beings, right? We're multidimensional beings. There's not just one path. There's not just one thing to do. You can't just be an entrepreneur or be, a gym bro, a fitness person, whatever it may be. Like, you have to be able to tackle different areas. So it's a more holistic way of living, I'll put it. How it's all interconnected, and it starts off with gratitude, with presence, with just being where you are in the moment, no matter where you are, even if you're not in Guatemala, like actually just being able to sit with where you are and not get caught up here, right? With social media, with distractions, with different things. And there's certain actionable steps I'll talk about for future videos about how to actually live like this, because it's a process in itself to be able to strip away things. And it's gradual decline, or not decline, subtraction, I should say, right? You're subtracting, and then the more it's getting visible of your true essence and how that relates to your environment, to other people, to your overall way of living. So if you resonate with this topic about IRL maxing, which is what I'm coining and what I'll be talking about more, let me know in the comments. I'll catch you the next one. Peace out.